Hi, it's Jay and welcome back to Jay Learning Videos. In this video, we're going to be answering a question that is centuries old. The question is, who owns the Statue of Liberty? Is it the state of New York, or the state of New Jersey, or someone else? Well, everyone knows the Statue of Liberty is in the New York City. So, the Statue of Liberty must be owned by the state of New York, right? Well, no, it's not that simple. You see, this has been a very long border dispute for hundreds of years. So let's look at a map of New York. So here we can see this is New York City, and New York City is, by the way, made of 5 boroughs. So there is the Bronx, Manhattan, which is kind of downtown and where all the big buildings are, Staten Island, Brooklyn, Queens, and also a bunch of other tiny islands. One of these islands is Liberty Island, which, you guessed it, that's where the Statue of Liberty is on. But this still doesn't answer the question. Is Liberty Island belong to New Jersey or New York? Well, you can see that there's a piece of mainland on the left side, which is labeled NJ, that's New Jersey, and the piece of land on the right side, which is labeled NY, belongs to New York, as well as the piece of land at the top that's labeled Bronx, that has the Bronx. That's also part of New York, NY, and also Manhattan and Staten Island. But then what about the islands? So to answer this question, let's go back in time. No, more back in time? That's more like it. Let's look at New York at this time. One quick thing before we do get started on all the complications of history, though, is that technically no state owns the statue because the statue is federal. It's a federal statue. So federal land means it's owned by the country, not the states. Even if it's on the state's land, it is technically owned by the country. And a lot of federal land is like national parks, national bomb testing sites, national forest. But Statue of Liberty is a national statue, which means it's a federal statue. But the question we're really trying to answer is, what state's land is it on? Okay, so here is New York City in the 1620s, and you can see that they're colonies right now. So the colony of New Jersey is owned by the English, or the British, and the colony of New Amsterdam is owned by the Dutch. And also Manhattan Island is also owned by the Dutch, and so is the Bronx, but Staten Island is owned by the English. So in the 1600s, the British and the Dutch actually had a war, and the British won. So the British got the colony of New Amsterdam, and they renamed it, you guessed it, New York. And one other thing, really quickly, you see a land that is shaded in green, and that land is basically artificial land. So it was not there in the 1600s, but it is there now because it was actually man-made land, and that will be important later on, so make sure you remember that. Once the British had control over New Jersey and New York, and actually the rest of the United States East Coast, the situation was fine for the next around 120 years, until 1783, when America gained independence and state borders needed to be drawn. And in 1783, the men who drew the borders wrote a very long article, but the part about New Jersey and New York's borders said that the land to the east of the Hudson River would belong to New York, and the land to the west of the Hudson River would belong to New Jersey. Which might seem straightforward, but highlighted in pink is the Hudson River. So does the East include Manhattan? And does it include Staten Island? Or does the East include Jersey City? It's very confusing because the Hudson River splits in half and joins again many times. So the two states argued about this for a very long time. New Jersey said, let's split up the Hudson River. I'll get Manhattan and Staten Island and all of the little islands in between, and you get everything else. Meanwhile, New York, who wanted a lot more, said, no, the Hudson River is mine, so I take it. I take all the islands in it, and by the way, you put ports along my river, so I get all of your ports and piers too. After a couple more years of arguing, the two states finally got this argument to the Supreme Court, which, if you don't know what the Supreme Court is, it's basically the judicial branch of the country, and it's the 9 highest ranking judges in the entire country. So in 1834, the Supreme Court handled this case, and this is what they came up with. Okay, so you can see here in yellow is New Jersey, and in blue is New York. So you can see New Jersey and New York basically split the westernmost part of the Hudson River in half. And you can see Liberty Island and Ellis Island, which is the island right underneath it, are also split. You can also see Staten Island went to New Jersey, but the other 4 boroughs went to New York. And the white parts at the bottom and at the top, right, are white because they're part of the ocean, and neither state gets the. Just a quick reminder that so far that in 1834, the Statue of Liberty did not exist, and right now they're just fighting over the island and the land and the water in the Hudson River. They're not fighting over the statue. But eventually, New Jersey and New York actually did swap some land. So New York got Ellis Island, Liberty Island, and Staten Island. And New Jersey got most of the waters of the Hudson River, and they got their piers and ports back. So let's look at this on a map. Okay, so as you can see, New York got Staten Island. They also got Liberty and Ellis Island. And New Jersey got most of the New York's part of the Hudson River in the west. And they got all of their ports and piers back, which is not on this map, but it was a major thing for New Jersey. It was worth it to lose so much land. Then in 1876, France sent a gift to the United States. And can you guess what the gift was? If you guessed Statue of Liberty, you are definitely right. The Statue of Liberty was a gift to America for her 100th birthday. And America said that she was going to put it on Liberty Island because in the 1870s, a lot of people were immigrating to the United States of America. And one of the top places was New York. And when the ships were going into New York, the first thing that they saw was Liberty Island. So it was going to be kind of like a welcome sign to America. So yeah, so the land border stayed like this for another 100 years or so until the 1980s, when New Jersey brought the case back to the Supreme Court. Because remember that green shaded land from way in the beginning that was artificial land? Well, by the 1980s, the artificial land had been built. And half of Liberty Island, as you can see here, was actually artificial land. Now, on the picture I just showed, it might look like it was more than half, but it was approximately half. So, yeah. But then the Supreme Court asked, where did the extra land come from? New York said that she had dug up some land and put it on New Jersey's side of the river. And New Jersey said that she had used that land on her side of the river to make Ellis and Liberty Islands slightly bigger. But neither of them could find any paperwork to prove that. So the Supreme Court didn't really know what to do. but the Supreme Court did say this. The original Liberty and Ellis Island belonged to New York, but the artificial parts belonged to New Jersey. So here we can see Liberty Island, and on Liberty Island is split in half, as mentioned earlier. So the half closer to the camera, which is the half which includes the Statue of Liberty, is technically New York's land. The half farther away from the camera, which has a lot boxier borders because it's artificial, is New Jersey's land, because that's artificial. So technically speaking, New York owns the land which the Statue of Liberty was on. You know what New Jersey owns? The gift shop. You know what else? The flagpole. You know what else? The ticket booth. And there you have it. So then, to recap, the statue is on New York's land, the gift shop, flagpole, and ticket booth are on New Jersey's land, and it's been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years. And the borders are most likely going to change again, because the last time they changed was only like 40 years ago. And yeah. So if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to this video. And yeah, I'm sorry I haven't been posting much recently. And share this with a friend or family member. And yeah, also another thing. So question time was resumed. I don't think I said the answer to my World War I question time in the last video, but the World War I question time answer is the Treaty of Versailles. And today's question time is, what other island besides Liberty Island was also long fought over? Leave your answer down in the comments, and yeah, bye.